All right, there's enough here that I think I'm going to make it an official episode of Johnny Uncovered. Here's a question from yesterday. Wrote this at work. I can't focus here. Anyway, it is question of the day. Are you in the game? So, I'm looking at, well, what's the most important question, that you can have in your life? And suppose, spiritual level, you could say, well, the most important question is, what's my soul's purpose? But in real world terms, you want to know, are you in the game or you're not? And I have 10 points, maybe more, all here on my paper, in my little book, and let's go through them. Number one, are you in the game? Or are you in the stands? Or are you wearing the jersey with someone else's name on it? It's okay in a way. I mean, just to be a fan or a super fan. I'm a super fan of classic rock and roll. I'm not in the game. I'm not in the game of music. I was almost in the game of being a visual artist. And the thing that gets me down about it is like the non-art work that you'd have to do to make it work, which is to document your work and to market it and to deal with all of that stuff that every successful artist and business person, but every successful artist in whatever field actually has to do. So it's something I'm going to have to reconcile myself with one way or another. So I have Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani was a big opera fan. Would he have been better off if he had tried to be an opera singer? Do you know what I mean? Would it have been better for his soul's journey to be an opera singer? I suppose if the thing about being an opera singer or being a real musician is, either you have it or you don't. I mean, especially with singing, you can develop. In popular music, you can have a different kind of voice. So I don't know. But that's a question. I mean, would it be better for him to be a lawyer somehow and struggling to be an opera singer or have struggled with that his whole life? I don't really know. That's point number one. Point number two, be credible. So I was watching one of these things the other day, as I do, YouTube video, and my comment was, be credible before you shoot for incredible. And note to self, because I'm not really credible as a musician. I'm okay, right? But I'm not bar band level, and I'm not wedding band level, and those are good levels. So you really do want to be credible before you try to be incredible, competent, right? Before you just try to leap over that because you have a gift or you have a vision. The road to greatness goes through being good, and then being better than good, and then being pretty darn good. Number three, commitment. So there's a guy on YouTube, musician, guitar player. His name is Rhett Shull, and friend of Rick Beato. And he says no plan B. And he's a professional musician. He goes out, he performs, he does his thing, and that's how he lives his life, and he's committed. Number four, excellence, value, connection. Yes. So you have to bring something into the world, right? You want to bring value into the world, something that people recognize as something that is meaningful and worthwhile. And then we make the exchange. I bring this to you, and you bring something of value to me, whether it's, in the abstracted form of money, or it's a chicken, or it's something else. Do you know what I mean? Even in Amazon Go, I had my first trip yesterday. You walk in and you walk out without paying. You're paying. You're trading something for something. One of the values in entertainment business or music business is connection. I mean, again, that's true in all the arts. There's something you connect to in a Van Gogh painting, in a piece of performance art. Number five, results versus performance. You can't guarantee what your results are. You can keep working until you get a certain specific result if you want, but one way to, not guarantee, but one way to work toward that is to and I didn't make this up. Again, I got this from another book. It was a review of this book called The 12-Week Year. The idea of that was to imagine each 3-month period as a whole year and to quadruple your output. But one of the ideas in that book is that you can't really count on what your results are going to be. Some of those are out in the world, or how it's going to be, anything is going to be received. But you can be completely responsible for and to your performance, your stick-to-itiveness, and how much you work. So not even so much how well you work, but how much you work. Yeah. Again, the other example is it's a college class in ceramics and throwing on the wheel, and the professor says, "Okay." And they split the class into two and said, or I mean, it was 2 different classes, and the one class was, I just want you to make one perfect pot. That is your job, is to make one perfect pot. And the other class was to just throw as many pots as you can. And surprise, surprise, the group that threw as many pots actually wound up producing the better product because they went at it longer instead of just trying to do one thing and get it right and worry it to death, or to scheme a way to make it better. One of the ways of making something better is to do it a lot. Number 6, artist or entertainer. You know me, sensitive artist type. Don't want to be an entertainer. Just so maybe it's the wrong business for me. It's the entertainment business. I ask, the question was Bob Dylan an entertainer? I mean, I don't know if he's entertaining exactly, or ever was, but he's very, very compelling, engaging, and there's something there that drew you in, but he wasn't spinning plates, you know what I mean? Yes, to be an artist, be engaging, be engrossing, and at the highest level of freedom and expression, do your own thing. Do your own thing, do it well. Oh, 7. Yeah, so I have this idea, like, I'm an adult person, I'm a doorman, I work in a building, there's a lot of accomplished people there, a lot of doctors, and I'm like, and PhDs, all kinds of doctors, and I'm like, what about me? I mean, I'm a person, I went to school, I studied, I mean, what am I doing with my life? And don't I want to be accomplished as a human being? I mean, I don't have to go back to school to get a PhD. That's a path. It's pretty cool. It's a good path, to be surrounded and to be in a milieu, to be in an atmosphere where you're supported and there's other smart people around and all of that. But number 7 is, hey, man, get a PhD in something. For me, right? We're talking about Rick Beato. He's a guy, we're the same age, but he spent, the last 40 years of his life working on music, and he knows a lot about music and theory, and he plays the piano, and he plays guitar, and he's been a producer, and he's been a songwriter, and all of that stuff, you see. So the question is, what's my PhD going to be in? What am I going to, master? Doctorally, philosophically. Number 8, something else. I mean, is my, because it feels that way. It feels like, like my connection to music is a thing that I'm doing. The impetus is there, right? The inspiration from the Beatles, etc. But every time I'm like, gosh, I really got to buckle down and do this and go deeper. I'm like, there's that, to be honest, hesitancy. And I'm like, yeah, man, it's not really my real thing. My real thing is doing my artwork, right? As I never say, my name is Simon, and I love to do drawings, right? I could do these all day long, you know, not just diddly doodle doodly diddlies. I mean, I could make myself get closer and finish stuff. That's, in a way, my natural gift, my natural talent, my natural bent, you know, to do that kind of stuff, right? Doing a lot of these. So there's this feeling that the music thing, for me, has these two aspects to it. Number one, you know, it's not enough for me just to have great stereo and be a super fan and to enjoy the music that I already enjoy at a deeper level. For me, there's a calling to make it. An appalling calling. A calling to be appalling. And I actually think there's a certain kind of beauty in that, to tell you the truth, and it's probably why I keep martyring myself on my own dopey ideas. So something else, or, you know, is what I'm doing a natural extension of my way of being? And my way of being in the world is what? I have spiritual concerns, I'm a sensitive type of person, and I like drawings and shapes and forms, and specifically, you know, even though I write poems and I'm writing songs and performing and all of that stuff, really, you know, my form is kind of non-verbal. I mean, there's feelings in there, but the feelings are evocations, you know, in the body, sensations, you know, having to do with, you know, making forms, crafting forms, making lines and forms, you know, and what they feel like, right? And all of that doesn't seem as sexy as the other stuff, and I don't know. Of course, the other thing that I keep saying about this is, man, I've done this, right? And I've done sculpture, and I like it, and I kind of know what that is and where it's going, and that's a kind of a self-limiting and arrogant sort of thing to say. I mean, because I don't really know where it's going or where it might go. And when I do weird stuff, weird, strange, upsetting, odd things, you know, there's something to be said for that. The non-censoring of the self, you know, like not trying to be cool, not trying to be a latter-day abstract expressionist, but actually just being a person going through life, right? So in that way, the art is an extension of who I am and who I am being, without censoring, without controlling the appearance, the moving toward or moving away from. So, you know, I'm kind of a moving away from person. I'd like to be able to say I'm a moving toward person. In other words, I see a goal, there's something I like, I'm passionate about it, and I move toward it, you know, and it's not really true. I'm more like a moving away something, moving away from what I don't like, quitting my job, and even moving away from the pain of not doing something, right? The pain of future regret. And the truth is, I don't think it's that uncommon, right? For people to be propelled by that black negative energy, the dark energy of pushing away. You know, it's the massless mass of the unseen and the unknown, right? To push on that. You know, and to use that to propel oneself forward to where they want to go. So not just the pure desire, which is kind of a positive thing, but the fear of not just fear of missing out, but the fear of never having explored something. But here I am. I'm really kind of caught in the limbo between these things, and I haven't found exactly the way to bring them all together, except in a strange way, in this excuse justifying performative way of making videos about it. And I don't want to become famous and well known for just doing nothing but talking about. That's not it either. Number 10, true, not true. Yes, so a decision to pursue or not pursue something. So people come to their point in their life where they're like, and I realized I wasn't going to be a writer, I wasn't going to write the great American novel, so I decided to become an editor instead. Or I realized, you know, I wasn't going to be any good at the piano, but I love the dynamics of music, and I decided to get into sound production and become a producer, a musical engineer. Like, is it true or is it not true, or is it some other thing where you know, I wasn't good enough? I think there are definite places in life where, you know, you're not going to be good enough to be, and it's clear, an Olympic athlete, right? Or to be a professional, you know, ball player. I remember, you know, one of my neighbors, he was terrific. He was the best all-around athlete, you know, on our block. And, you know, whatever sport we played, he was the best at it. And then seeing him go from that to high school, we went to the same high school, he was a year, 2 years older, and seeing that he wasn't so great compared to those high school players, that was a shock to me, right? Because, like, for me, he was a 10, and in the world of high school athletics, let's say he was a solid 6 or 7, you know, and I think there's that whole world of the unknown at the highest levels of performance, that people who are not there or close to being there have no idea what it is, what it's like, how those people are tuned into their medium, their sport, and just how good they are on the one hand, and then how much effort they put into getting there and maintaining it on top of their natural skills and talent. So when a guy says, well, yeah, I decided to give up on my music, which I've done before, right? I decided to give up on it because I wasn't committed to it. You know, right? I did it. And I couldn't see it, could not see it happening, you know, so I gave up on it. Without regret, for many, many years, you know, and this is supposed to be my 3rd round, you know, starting in 2013, so 6 years later, I haven't done very much with it, even after having committed to it. And, you know, I went back to my art stuff, and in the last round of that, I did a lot. I got my master's degree, and I did a lot of teaching and more teaching of kids and adults, and put my work out there in the world and all of that. And then this came sniffing around again. Anyway, so if I say, well, I gave up on music because I wasn't very good and I didn't have what it took and all of that, is that true? It might be true. I mean, it's true now. I don't have what it takes now, but could I have what it takes? Could I have what it takes to have to keep my day job for the rest of my life and yet you know, go out to open mics or do teeny little gigs and be satisfied with that as a human, you know? So that's the question. Is it true, you know, that you're good enough and you're not good enough? Or is it something that we tell ourselves and then we make it true because we make a decision and we stop? Yeah. So that's it. That's the episode from the new studio. It's all stripes today. And thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't like. Unlike. Thumbs down is also good. Thumbs down if you don't want to be a super you. If you're not at all interested in Moon Juice products or endorse anything that's endorsed by the good people at Goop. This is not a Goop product. This is something else. I can't even tell you how this entered my life. Down. down the compactor chute. You'd be surprised what comes down. This is a gift from the heavens. The only concern is the ashwagandha, which might be a problem for my rheumatoid arthritis. I don't know if that's the kind I have. I'm at the age where I have some arthritis. Is that why I gave up on guitar? No, it isn't. All right, bye. I'm your fan. You can be mine if you just keep watching. All right, bye.